But let's look now at the very last piece of the puzzle. And the last piece of the puzzle we're going to have time for today is the federal government. Chart 26. Blue line, red line, green line. What's the blue line?
Receipts.
Federal government receipts or revenues. Red line, federal expenditures. Green line, surplus or deficit. When is the green line a surplus? When it's above zero. When is it a deficit? Below zero. What happened in 1981-82?
The deficit increased.
It certainly did. The deficit increased in 1981-82. Did it increase because revenues stopped growing or because expenditures grew extraordinarily rapidly?
Looks like both.
Like they stayed on par with each other.
Looks like receipts kind of flattened out a little bit.
Don't,
Expenditures kept.
you're not giving the answer I wanted to hear. In 1981-82, maybe into 83, which direction was the blue line going?
Flat.
Flat. How about the red line?
Up.
Why was the blue line flat? Two reasons in 1981-82.
Tax cuts.
Tax cuts and recession. Exactly. Recession of 81-82. Why does recession reduce federal revenues? Because the recession cuts incomes. And when incomes fall,
Taxes.
when incomes fall, receipts fall. Now, if federal revenues fall because incomes fall and therefore income tax revenues fall, what will happen if there's a cut in tax rates? The revenues will fall even faster. And so the result was, in 1981-82, the revenue growth flattened and the expenditures continued to grow. And we had substantial deficits until when?
Late 80s.
Until when? More than just the late 80s. We had substantial deficits until the late 90s. And what happened in the late 90s? Finally, what happened in the late 90s? Revenues began to grow so rapidly that they caught up with receipts and passed them for a while. And you'll notice we were having budget surpluses. Remember, there were forecasts of chronic budget surpluses going on forever. But that didn't last. And why didn't it last?
Bubble burst in the .com.
One, again, there was a recession. And recession cuts revenues. But two, tax cuts. And so you can see once again, the blue line fell. Only this time it really fell, didn't it? And what happened to the deficits? The deficits became worse. And in this case, of course, when the green line heads south, that means deficit, right? When the green line heads south, that means deficit. All right. Now, the green line is heading back north again. The deficits are getting smaller because the economy is getting stronger once again. The question is the blue line going to cross the red line? Once again. Most folks who study this thing say no. The blue line is not going to cross the red line. They think that the revenue growth is not going to be strong enough, and we're not going to run surpluses under the present circumstances unless there's some change in the situation.